WebElement is an interface in Selenium which represents a particular HTML element on a web page. You can create an object of WebElement by invoking WebDriver.findElement method and by passing allocator. If you want to perform an action or want to retrieve information from an HTML element, then you have to use a WebElement object. WebElement object provides many useful methods. Let's discuss a few common such methods here. If you want to click on a particular element, you can invoke WebElement.click method. If you want to send a set of keys to a WebElement, you can invoke WebElement.sendKeys, and then you can specify a string so that that value that you provide as a string will be typed over the WebElement, such as an input box. If you want to clear the contents of an element, say for example an input box, you can use WebElement.clearOff. If you want to get the text associated with an element, you can invoke WebElement.getText. WebElement.getAttribute will get you the value of an attribute of an element. You will be passing the attribute name as a parameter, and this method getAttribute will return the attribute value. IsDisplayed checks if an element is visible on the page. If the element is visible, it will return true, or else it will return false. If you want to check if an element is enabled, you can use WebElement.isEnabled. If it's enabled, it will return true, or else it will return false. Say for example, if a button is disabled and it is not clickable, this method will return false. Now you have a WebElement.isSelected. You can use this method to check if a particular element is selected. Say for example, for checkboxes and radio buttons, by invoking this method, you can check if they are selected or not.